Welcome to today's Lost Souls, where we bring you the most impactful and unforgettable stories from around the world. Today, we remember the lives of remarkable individuals whose legacies continue to inspire and resonate. From iconic musicians to trailblazing activists, join us as we celebrate their extraordinary contributions and bid farewell to those who have left an indelible mark on our lives. Stay tuned for a journey through their incredible stories.
James Foley. James Foley, an American journalist and war correspondent known for his fearless reporting in some of the world's most dangerous conflict zones, passed away tragically at the age of 40. His death shook not just the journalism world, but also awakened the global conscience to the brutal risks faced by those who pursue the truth. James wasn't just a reporter. He was a storyteller, a humanitarian, and a brave soul who believed in giving a voice to the voiceless, even in the darkest corners of the world. Born in Evanston, Illinois, James grew up in a tight-knit Catholic family, the oldest of 5 siblings. He was raised on strong values: compassion, justice, and courage, which would later define his life's mission. After studying history at Marquette University and earning a Master of Fine Arts in Writing from the University of Massachusetts, he found his calling in journalism. He saw it not just as a profession, but as a responsibility. James first gained attention for his work in Iraq, Afghanistan, and Libya. His storytelling style wasn't driven by sensationalism, it was powered by empathy. He embedded himself with civilians, lived among them, listened to their stories, and reported with dignity and depth. When he was first captured in Libya in 2011 while covering the civil war, it did little to shake his resolve. In fact, once released, he returned to the field even more determined to share the stories the world ignored. In 2012, while covering the Syrian civil war, James was abducted again, this time by extremist militants. For nearly 2 years, he remained in captivity. Yet even in the face of fear and isolation, fellow hostages later revealed that James continued to uplift others, sharing food, organizing games, and praying for those around him. His strength and compassion never wavered. His death in 2014 was a moment of collective mourning and outrage. But more than that, it was a reminder of the courage it takes to reveal the truths we often choose to ignore. James paid the ultimate price for his commitment to telling the stories that mattered. In his honor, the James W. Foley Legacy Foundation was created to advocate for the freedom and safety of journalists around the world. His legacy is not just in the articles he wrote or the lives he touched, but in the enduring fight for truth and justice he championed with every breath. James Foley died doing what he believed in, telling the truth, and through that truth, he will never be forgotten. Jim Dent, the once celebrated sportswriter and author known for his gripping football stories and best-selling books, passed away at the age of 69. His life was a blend of brilliance and darkness, marked by literary success, personal battles, and ultimately a cautionary tale of talent consumed by demons. Dent's words once inspired millions, but his own life unraveled in a way that many of his readers could never have imagined. Born in 1955, Jim Dent grew up with a deep passion for sports. Raised in Texas, where football isn't just a game but a religion, he naturally gravitated towards storytelling about the sport. He began his career as a journalist, eventually working for top newspapers like the Dallas Times-Herald and Fort Worth Star-Telegram, where his detailed and emotional sports writing quickly stood out. His insight into the human side of athletics made him one of the most respected voices in the press box. Jim's most famous work, The Junction Boys, detailed the grueling 1954 Texas A&M football training camp under Coach Bear Bryant. The book became a national sensation and was later adapted into a TV movie by ESPN. He followed it with several more sports biographies and narratives that further established his reputation as a master of football history. But behind his professional success, Dent harbored a growing personal crisis, one he couldn't outrun. His long battle with alcoholism led to numerous legal issues, including a staggering number of DWI arrests that ultimately derailed his career and landed him in prison. The same man who wrote about heroism and perseverance on the gridiron struggled to conquer his own demons off the field. Even as his legal troubles mounted, some of his closest friends and fans held on to the hope that he might one day return to writing and redeem himself. He made attempts to get back on track, expressing remorse and recognizing the pain his actions had caused to others and himself. But the shadow of his past proved too large to escape entirely. Dent's story is a tragic reminder of how talent alone cannot save a person from inner turmoil. He had the gift of storytelling, the respect of his peers, and the love of fans, but addiction stole it all away. His legacy is complicated. On one hand, his books remain some of the most compelling works ever written on American football. On the other, his personal downfall remains a powerful lesson about accountability, choices, and redemption that never fully came. Joe Louis Walker. Joe Louis Walker, the legendary blues guitarist, singer, and songwriter, passed away at the age of 74. A true torchbearer of the American blues tradition, Joe spent over 6 decades breathing fire and soul into every note he played, carrying forward the legacies of the genre's greats while carving out a powerful, unique voice of his own. Born on December 25, 1949, in San Francisco, Walker was raised in a musical household surrounded by gospel, blues, and soul. By the time he was 14, he was already playing guitar professionally. In his youth, he befriended many blues legends, among them Mike Bloomfield, John Lee Hooker, and B.B. King. And by his early 20s, he had shared stages with iconic figures like Muddy Waters and Jimi Hendrix. But Joe was never just imitating his heroes. He was building a sound that would become unmistakably his own. In the 1970s, Joe took an unexpected step away from the stage, enrolling at San Francisco State University and earning a degree in music and English. It was during this period of reflection that he deepened his understanding of blues roots and sought to refine his craft. When he returned to recording in the mid-1980s, he came back not just as a blues guitarist, but as a force of nature. His 1986 comeback album, Cold as the Night, reintroduced Joe to the world. Over the next several decades, he released more than 24 albums, each a vibrant blend of raw blues, gospel, rock, funk, and soul. His guitar tone, sharp, emotional, and explosive, became instantly recognizable. But it wasn't just about the licks. Joe's voice, gritty and full of heart, carried stories of pain, joy, struggle, and redemption. Joe Louis Walker was not just a performer. He was a historian, a teacher, and a preacher of the blues. He earned 4 Blues Music Awards, was inducted into the Blues Hall of Fame, and received multiple Grammy nominations. Yet, despite the accolades, he remained humble, always more focused on honoring the music than chasing fame. Those who knew him personally described Joe as deeply spiritual, intelligent, and generous with his time. He mentored younger musicians, collaborated across genres, and never stopped exploring new musical terrain. Even into his 70s, he was touring, recording, and performing with the same fiery intensity he showed as a teenager. Joe Louis Walker's passing is a massive loss to the world of music. His guitar may now be silent, but the echoes of his blues, deep, soulful, and eternal, will live on. Jochen Mass. Jochen Mass, the German racing legend whose name became synonymous with courage and precision behind the wheel, passed away at the age of 78. A veteran of both Formula One and endurance racing, Jochen left an indelible mark on motorsport history with his daring spirit, sportsmanship, and enduring passion for racing. Born on September 30th, 1946, in Dorfen, Bavaria, Jochen Mass began his racing career in the 1960s, not on paved circuits, but on the open seas. Initially a trained seaman, Jochen didn't take the traditional path to motorsport, but the thrill of speed soon called him from water to wheels, and he began racing touring cars in Germany, quickly gaining recognition for his skill and aggressive yet intelligent driving style. By the early 1970s, Jochen had made the leap into Formula One, debuting with the Surtees team. His breakthrough came in 1975 when he won the Spanish Grand Prix at Montjuic Park, driving for McLaren. That victory would be his only F1 win, but it cemented his reputation as a talented and reliable driver who could go wheel to wheel with the best. However, Jochen's career in Formula One was not without tragedy. In 1982, during qualifying at Zolder, he was involved in the horrific accident that claimed the life of Gilles Villeneuve. The incident shook him deeply and contributed to his decision to step back from F1 soon after. But Jochen's love for racing never faded. It simply found a new path. In the world of sports car racing, Jochen Mass thrived. He became a dominant force in endurance racing, driving for Porsche and Mercedes-Benz. He claimed victories at the 24 Hours of Spa, the 1,000 kilometers of Nürburgring, and numerous other grueling endurance events. His partnership with the legendary Stefan Bellof in the 1980s, especially during their Porsche 956 days, is still remembered as one of the sport's golden duos. Even after retiring from full-time competition, Jochen remained a fixture in motorsport. He drove in historic races, advised manufacturers, and participated in safety advocacy. Always articulate and thoughtful, he was admired not just for his achievements on the track, but for his class off it. Jochen Mass will be remembered as a man who raced with heart and integrity. In an era where motorsport was as dangerous as it was thrilling, he emerged as a hero, calm, committed, and unflinchingly brave. Josiah Ruk. Josiah Ruk, a rising star in the world of underground music and a voice for a generation that felt unseen, has tragically passed away at just 28 years old. Known for his raw lyrics, haunting melodies, and deeply emotional performances, Josiah's music wasn't just sound. It was a lifeline for many who felt the weight of silence and pain in their lives. His unexpected death has left a deep void not just in the music scene, but in the hearts of thousands who found healing through his words. Born in a small town in Ohio, Josiah had a quiet childhood. He was the kid who never quite fit in, often lost in his headphones, scribbling lyrics into notebooks that he kept hidden under his bed. Music became his sanctuary, a place where he could express what he couldn't say out loud. Influenced by artists like Elliott Smith and Kid Cudi, he began crafting his unique sound as a teenager, blending acoustic soul with lo-fi hip-hop and whispered vocals that sounded like secrets you weren't meant to hear, but needed to. His breakout moment came when he uploaded a single, Empty Skies, to SoundCloud. The song, a minimalist ballad about depression and self-doubt, went viral, not because it was flashy, but because it was real. Josiah's music didn't try to hide the pain. It embraced it, turned it into poetry, and made listeners feel like they weren't alone in theirs. Over the next few years, he released 2 critically acclaimed EPs and performed at small but passionate venues, often hugging fans who told him his music saved their lives. But behind the growing fame, Josiah struggled. Friends spoke of a young man deeply empathetic, who carried the burdens of others as if they were his own. He gave everything to his art, sometimes at the expense of his own well-being. Despite his inner battles, he remained kind, humble, and always present for those around him. In his short time on Earth, Josiah Ruk made an indelible mark. He reminded us that vulnerability is strength, and that even the softest voice can shake the world. His music lives on, a testament to honesty, pain, and the beauty that can come from speaking your truth.
Charlie Scalise, the veteran American actor best remembered for his gritty and authentic role as Thomas Horseface Pacusa in the acclaimed HBO series The Wire, passed away at the age of 86. A true character actor, Charlie brought a rare sense of realism and emotional depth to every role he touched, leaving behind a legacy built not on fame, but on unforgettable performances. Born in Philadelphia in 1938, Charlie was a proud product of a working-class neighborhood where storytelling was a way of life. His upbringing shaped both his grounded personality and the blue-collar grit he later brought to the screen. Acting wasn't Charlie's first path. He worked various jobs and raised a family before taking a serious interest in performing later in life, making his story all the more inspiring. When he finally stepped onto the stage and screen, Charlie brought with him a lived-in authenticity that couldn't be faked. His breakout came with The Wire, where he portrayed Horseface, a stevedore on the Baltimore docks during the show's second season. His portrayal of a rough, loyal, and emotionally complex longshoreman won over fans and critics alike, and even though his time on the show was brief, it left a lasting mark. He became a symbol of the disappearing American working class, a man with pride, principles, and pain. But Charlie's acting credits extended beyond The Wire. He appeared in series like Homicide, Life on the Street, and films such as The Replacements and Liberty Heights. Regardless of screen time, Charlie's presence was always memorable. His deep voice, expressive eyes, and no-nonsense delivery gave his characters weight and soul. He made viewers believe in every line he delivered. Off-screen, Charlie was known as a kind-hearted, humorous, and deeply loyal family man. Friends and colleagues described him as humble, always willing to lend advice or encouragement to younger actors. He believed in the value of hard work and often spoke about how acting came into his life as a second chance, something he was endlessly grateful for. Charlie Scalise didn't chase celebrity. Instead, he pursued truth in storytelling, and that truth resonated with people across generations. His performances gave voice to working men with fading dreams and enduring dignity. His passing leaves a quiet space in the world of acting, but his work continues to speak, raw, real, and unforgettable. Cora Sue Collins. Cora Sue Collins, one of Hollywood's last surviving child stars of the Golden Age, passed away at the age of 97. A luminous presence on screen during the 1930s and 40s, she enchanted audiences with her charm, wit, and remarkable poise far beyond her years. Though her acting career ended early, the legacy she left as a symbol of a bygone era in American cinema remains etched in the hearts of classic film lovers. Born on April 19, 1927, in Beckley, West Virginia, Cora Sue entered the film industry at the tender age of 5. Her natural charisma and expressive eyes quickly caught the attention of directors, and she became a sought-after child actress at Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer during a time when the studio system ruled Hollywood. She appeared in over 30 films before retiring from acting in her late teens. One of her most notable early performances came in Queen Christina, 1933, where she played the young version of Greta Garbo's character. Even in her brief scenes, she demonstrated a captivating ability to embody emotion with subtlety and grace. That same year, she starred opposite Lionel Barrymore in The Stranger's Return and left a lasting impression on audiences and critics alike. She had a talent for balancing innocence with intelligence, a quality rare even among adult actors. Though she worked alongside legendary names like Joan Crawford, Lionel Barrymore, and Clark Gable, Cora Sue never let fame define her. She was always credited with a strong work ethic and a kind spirit, earning the affection of everyone from fellow child actors to seasoned Hollywood veterans. As she grew older, Cora Sue chose to step away from the screen, prioritizing a life away from the public eye. She moved into private life with grace, often reflecting fondly on her time in film but never yearning for the spotlight again. Later in life, she made rare appearances at classic film events, where she was greeted as a living link to Hollywood's golden past. Her stories and insights were treasured by fans and historians alike. Cora Sue Collins may not have had a long career in front of the camera, but the quality of her work and the era she represented gave her a special place in cinematic history. Her passing marks the end of an extraordinary chapter, a final goodbye to a shining child of classic Hollywood.
Holly Madison. Holly Madison, a television personality, model, and author who rose to fame as one of Hugh Hefner's girlfriends on the reality series The Girls Next Door, passed away at the age of 44. Her journey through the bright lights of the Playboy Mansion to a life of self-discovery and empowerment made her a unique figure in pop culture. A woman who stepped out of a man's shadow to tell her own story in her own voice. Born Holland Sue Cullen in Astoria, Oregon, Holly's early life was far from glamorous. Raised in a modest household, she moved around frequently with her family, living in Alaska and Oregon before eventually settling in California. Determined to carve out her own future, she attended Portland State University and later transferred to Loyola Marymount in Los Angeles. It was there that the path to Playboy began, almost by accident. To help cover tuition, Holly started working as a waitress at Hooters and began attending parties at the Playboy Mansion. Eventually, she caught the eye of Hugh Hefner and was invited to move in as one of his girlfriends. She quickly became the star of The Girls Next Door, a reality show that offered a curated glimpse into the lives of Hefner's 3 live-in girlfriends. Her bubbly charm and signature platinum blonde hair made her a household name. But beneath the sparkle and smiles, Holly's reality was far more complex. Over time, she began to feel trapped by the expectations and control of mansion life. In her best-selling memoir, Down the Rabbit Hole, Holly pulled back the curtain on the glamorous illusion, detailing the emotional struggles, power imbalances, and toxic dynamics she experienced. The book was a cultural moment. It resonated deeply with women who had felt silenced or stuck in systems that didn't serve them. After leaving the mansion, Holly reinvented herself with grace and grit. She headlined Las Vegas shows like Peep Show, became a New York Times best-selling author, and built a loyal following as an advocate for women's mental health, empowerment, and authenticity. She continued writing and speaking out, using her platform to discuss everything from body image to trauma recovery. In interviews, Holly often reflected on her past with a mix of regret and gratitude, never afraid to own her truth. Her candidness helped break down stigmas around emotional abuse, manipulation, and the pressure women face to conform to perfection. Holly Madison's passing leaves a quiet but powerful legacy, one of resilience, honesty, and the courage to walk away from a life that looked perfect on the outside, but wasn't. She was more than a reality star. She was a survivor, a voice for women, and a reminder that strength often comes after breaking free.
Mario Ernesto Sanchez. Mario Ernesto Sanchez, the passionate Cuban-American actor and theater pioneer who founded one of the first bilingual theaters in the United States, has passed away at the age of 76. Known not just for his performances but for his unyielding dedication to Latin American culture and immigrant voices, Mario's legacy will be remembered far beyond the stage. Born in Havana, Cuba, in 1948, Mario immigrated to the United States as a young man, carrying with him a deep love for his heritage and an intense desire to tell stories that mattered. That desire would grow into something far more powerful than he likely imagined. In the late 1970s, he founded Teatro Avant in Miami, an organization that would go on to redefine Latin American theater in the U.S. With Teatro Avant, Mario created a platform for artists who had been silenced, misunderstood, or ignored. Under his leadership, the theater produced plays that celebrated Hispanic culture while confronting important social issues, language barriers, exile, identity, and generational gaps. His bilingual productions weren't just entertainment, they were bridges between communities. Audiences came from all over to see his work, which blended the richness of Cuban tradition with universal human struggles. While his impact was most deeply felt in the theater world, Mario was also a respected screen actor. He had roles in a variety of films and television shows, including Miami Vice, The Specialist, and The Perez Family. Though often cast in supporting roles, he brought a depth and dignity to his characters that audiences never forgot. He wasn't flashy, he was real, and he brought that authenticity to every project. Those who knew Mario personally speak of his boundless energy and warm heart. He was a mentor to countless young performers, a champion for underrepresented voices, and a cultural ambassador whose mission was always to uplift. He never let fame or recognition get in the way of the work. He believed art had a purpose, and he lived that belief every day. In 1985, Mario helped launch the International Hispanic Theater Festival in Miami, an event that continues to thrive and unite artists from across the Spanish-speaking world. Through his efforts, Hispanic theater gained legitimacy and visibility in the U.S. arts landscape. Mario Ernesto Sanchez's death leaves a void in the hearts of many, but his influence will continue to ripple across generations. His voice was powerful, not because it was loud, but because it gave others the courage to use theirs.
Johnny Rodriguez, the trailblazing voice who brought a unique blend of Latin flair and heartfelt country storytelling to the world, has passed away at the age of 70. As one of the first Mexican-American artists to make a major impact on the country music scene, Johnny's voice wasn't just a sound, it was a statement. A voice that echoed through decades, carrying with it the rhythm of his roots and the soul of his struggle. Born on December 10, 1951, in Sabinal, Texas, Johnny grew up surrounded by hardship and heartbreak. His father died when he was just a teenager, and his brush with the law as a young man seemed destined to take him down a darker path. But life had something else in store. After being heard singing in a Texas jail cell, Johnny's talent caught the attention of country legend Tom T. Hall and record producer Jerry Kennedy. That moment wasn't just a discovery, it was a resurrection. In the early 1970s, Johnny Rodriguez burst onto the Nashville scene like a storm with his debut single, Pass Me By, If You're Only Passing Through. The song climbed the charts and introduced a new, unmistakable voice to country fans. He became the first Latin American country singer to top the Billboard country charts, and he didn't stop there. Hits like You Always Come Back to Hurting Me, Riding My Thumb to Mexico, and That's the Way Love Goes sealed his place in music history. Johnny's music wasn't polished or commercial. It was raw, vulnerable, and deeply personal. He sang of love and loss, of joy and pain, and of belonging in a world that often tried to push him out. He slipped seamlessly between English and Spanish lyrics, daring to be authentic at a time when the industry wasn't always kind to outsiders. But he didn't bend. He didn't water himself down. He let the world hear him as he was, and in doing so, gave countless others the courage to do the same. His personal life, like his music, was filled with ups and downs. He faced legal troubles, battles with addiction, and periods of obscurity. But through it all, his voice never left him, and neither did his fans. Johnny continued to perform throughout his life, his later years marked by a deep gratitude for the stage, the music, and the people who stuck with him through thick and thin. Johnny Rodriguez wasn't just a country singer. He was a pioneer, a survivor, and a storyteller. His death leaves a silence in the world of country music, but his legacy will never be quiet. Every note he sang, every lyric he wrote, will continue to echo across the hearts of those who heard him and understood the story he told. Of love, of struggle, of a man who never stopped singing.